the code. All right, so we're going to get started. 9815. Make sure we get that recorded. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take a look. I think, let me see, that one's from the other class, but let me, same thing though. Just want to grab the same one. All right, now what we're looking at today is lesson 2.5. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. I know a couple of you may have had questions in regarding to your portfolio. All right, we're going to talk about that on the next class. Although I'll probably be doing the review, I'll talk about. It depends on. I might talk about a little bit today too, because we have only 2.5 to cover, and it shouldn't be too much to. It's called Take a Guess, but I'll take a look at that in just a second. Depending on the time we have, I might just mention a little bit more about the portfolio because we got the test review. All right, so let's take a look at that. So today's topic is called Take a Guess. It's all about estimating, and it's about problem solving. And when we take complete problem solving, we're looking at the ability to take guesses. All right, 9815. All right, so that's important. All right, taking guesses. Let's take a look at this. It's too high. Now, when you're looking at this, like they are asking you to basically round it off before you put it together. So it says round off to the nearest tenth. So when we take and look at 16.149, the nearest tenth would be 16.1. And then for 5.11, then it would be 5.1. So we get the idea that we're looking at this approximational value system that we're looking at. And that's important. So when we go ahead and add that together, we can actually do it mentally. 16.1 plus 5.1 would be 21.2. And that's the reason why we do it mentally. So we can go ahead and do exactly that mentally. But sometimes people can't do it. They can't retain numbers in their head. So then they have to start writing it down, and that could be troubling for some students. So it says, okay, this thing's going a little slow. All right, let's continue. All right, now it says first round alternative is 10. Again, this would be 17.5, and this would be 6.4. All right, so we're adding 6 to 16, and then basically adding 5 to 4. So you're going to get a 9 at the end, right? But the thing is that when you get a 9 at the end, you have to go ahead and you get 9 point something, right? You have to take and add 6 to 17. Now that's where the troubling thing comes in, that some students can't do that mentally, and so they get stuck, and then they have to write it down. All right, so it don't take any fear for that. But I had one time had a moment when I was in class with a young lady who, when I asked her, a simple addition problem, that she froze, and that wasn't uncommon, because not that she couldn't do the simple addition, it's just that when we're called on the spot, it's like our brain shuts off, and that's intimidating. It's like scary. And then that happens to us even at the moment when we're looking at just adding something really simple together and we can't do it. Don't judge yourself about it. All right. Here it says estimate 15% tip on a dining bill of this, right? We have 78.25 by first rounding the bill to the nearest $10, and nearest $10 would be $80, right? So when we're looking at that, we take $80, and then with 15%, the way to do it is take it and knock it down to 10%, because 10% of $80, right? 10% of $80 is going to be $8. And then you take in half that, half of 8 is 4, so 4 plus 8 is 12. So, estimate the value of 15%, it would be 12. And then that would be the answer we're looking for. I mean, and I did all that mentally because we're supposed to do this mentally, by the way. And the reason is because you got to come up with strategies to figure out how to go about solving these things where you're not so reliant on paper and pencil, and that you're taking guesses. And that's why this section is called Take a Guess. All right, 2.5. Now, I know some of you are so afraid of commitment to this process that you're going to use a calculator by default. You're going to not rely on yourself. You're not going to trust yourself, and you're not even going to try. What I say then, if that's the case, go ahead and attempt to do it, write your answer down, and then double check yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, nothing wrong with double checking yourself, especially when you're being assessed on a test or something like that. That could be very scary. I would say definitely go ahead and assess yourself, okay? Or check yourself. Now, 34 is less than 91. 7 is less than 39. 904 is greater than 902. And 75 is less than 530. And that, again, you can find that on on the page 214 and 213. They talk about the inequality symbols and comparing numbers. So you'll see that on page 213. And that's why they do this, right? So that's that. I mean, I'm going to continue to go pretty quick on this. I mean, because most of you understand how to do comparisons. If you don't know, then let me know. I mean, like some people don't know that the big mouth is supposed to go to the bigger number, like the big half. All right, think about Pac-Man or the alligator. Always wants to eat the larger number. So this moves quickly. All right, now this is write an inequality for the following statement. 5 is greater than or equal to y. So 5, so we're going to go ahead and put 5, is greater than or equal to. So greater than or equal to is going to have this symbolization, all right, equal to y. All right, so it's a matter of understanding what the words mean now that represents the inequality. B, obviously, let's start out with B then. B is less than or equal to. So we're going to go ahead and put it that way. And then, of course, when we're looking at this, we're looking at a battery of answers that would suffice. For example, 10 is greater than or equal to 8. So that is yes. So 8 is greater than or equal to 8. So that's it's equal to, so then that's good. 11 is greater than 8, whereas 4 is not greater than or equal to 8, so that one would be a no. And then we have the idea. Come on, continue to go, please. Looks like it's locked up. All right. Looks like I'm stuck. All right. That's beautiful. I love being stuck. So they would give us the same kind of question again. And then all we'd have to do is, again, do replacement and see if it works. So since it's stuck, I can't move forward. Now, that's talking about 2.5. 2.5 is taking a guess, and I've demonstrated to you the mental capacities of my own mind being able to do it mentally, which is a lot different level, but you can understand and appreciate the idea that what you're trying to do is take a guess and see if it works and get something approximate. So that brings us to the end of this lesson. So what I'm going to do is take the rest of the time to talk about the portfolio, right? That was about maybe 10 minutes worth of a discussion. So let's go ahead and talk about the first 4 portfolios. As you know, on the bottom of your document here, it says that 1, 2, 1, 7, 1, 10, and 2, 1 are due March 7th. Now, March 7th is not this Sunday coming up, but the following Sunday. So make sure that you're not sitting here waiting to the last darn minute to do it, or wait, oh, I could do it on the weekend of. Don't do it the weekend of. You're going to then ask for extensions, stuff like that. And what automatically happens following the 7th is that you get 50% off of the portfolio. And that is not something you want. I mean, it's 10% of your grade, so you want to be able to get those full 10%. All right. So let's get them done. All right. So how do you get them done? Is, again, I think I've mentioned this to you the very first day of class, but you come into your Blackboard, and then you go to course content. Under course content, you'll see portfolios. Now, you'll see that the first 4 portfolios are have the due date of 3/7, the first 4 of them. So these page numbers are not from the book. They're from the old book. So do not use the new book to do this. That's why I've given you documents here that give you a picture of the old book. So here it says, find an example of bar graph from a magazine, newspaper, or online article on a subject that you find interesting. Recreate the bar graph in a separate or in a spreadsheet, including labeling. Then copy and paste your bar graph into Word document, Word document, and type a sentence or 2 explaining why you find the topic interesting and what the bar graph tells you. Be sure to note where you got your sources from. So for finding an example, all you'd have to do is go to a web search, okay, and type in bar graphs, and take a topic. Say, I don't know, it's comparing basketball players. Bar graph of basketball players. Now you can go ahead and look up anything if it's whatever's interesting to you. And I would go to images, all right? And then I could find all kinds of examples of bar graphs to mimic after. So say I go ahead and look at this one. Players drafted by conference since 2005, all right? Now, you can go ahead and see that this is a bar graph that has indicated that this is about, what, 201. This is roughly about 83, and so on and so forth. You can kind of take rough estimates for it. all right? You go through this, and if this is interesting to you, I mean, it doesn't have to be this one slide. I mean, you could choose this slide right here, all right? NBA finances, franchise values in millions, okay? So you can look at this and say, well, this is interesting to me, and I'm going to duplicate this. Now, this is quite a lot of information here, so maybe it's not so much interest to you. So here's something, at least then it has this. Look at free throw percentages and then the height. So we're looking at height and the value, or what percentage of free throws are made. Now, a height, I would imagine they're speaking of, the player. If the player is, say, under 6 feet tall, 6 feet to 6'4", 6'5" to 6'7", I would imagine that's the height of the player. So it looks like the taller that the person is, the less free throw percentage shots they make. I mean, that's what I'm gathering from this particular graph. Now, I don't want to keep on, harping about basketball. It's not the idea about basketball. It's the idea that you got a bar graph that you're mimicking. Once you find something of interest to you, you're going to go ahead and put it into a spreadsheet. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you, I think I have my example. Not that I'm asking you to copy my example, I'm just giving you an example. I'm going to show you my stuff here. So, I mean, I've created something, just so in case students needed to have an example. Here is mine. I've created them all. I mean, I've done them all. But I don't want to enable you by just giving you everything. And then you just copy and paste. That's not fun. Here, finally. Okay, here is my example. So I went with ACC Championship Sports. Okay, so it looks like this is North Carolina, Duke, FSU, Clemson, Georgetown. So you guys continue to look at this information. This is the information I'm looking at. And I can see, okay, based off this information, that I've listed all of them here based off of what was indicated there. I went ahead and wrote down the numbers, all right? And then I went ahead and see that this mimics what's here, but I made it like more three-dimensional. And the data source that I got it from was here. So I've indicated my source about where I got my information from. Now I think there's only one of you who has so far completed the first one. And I'm not looking for you to have, created rocket science here. I'm looking for you to be able to follow a simple instruction. Now, here, what you do to get it onto a Word document, you right-click it, right? I think you can copy this, right? See this? Let's go ahead and copy it, all right? And then I'm going to go ahead and bring it over to, or actually, if you go into a Word document, you can import a spreadsheet. I think that's what you can do too. Now, I'm just going to show you how. I'm just doing it right in front of you. There's a couple options to do it, but here I have a Word document, and I'm just going to go ahead and boom, there it is. Now, that was nothing. That was nothing for me to do. So look at this. It's everything. It's a chart. I can tell it's the designed chart that you create from Excel, because look at up here. It'll say chart design format. I mean, I know that that's a chart system that you created on Excel, and I can change some parameters on it, okay? Because it's in fact a chart. If it's a picture that you got and you just copied and paste a picture, then that's going to be significantly different. If I go ahead and showed you that example of what a picture would look like, this would be an example of a picture, because this is a picture right here. All right, I'm going to copy that. All right. So this, I made it a link to go to if I wanted to, but I wanted to just copy the darn thing. Copy, and I bring it over to Word, and I want to show you the difference. See, if I click on here, it'll say picture format. I will know real quick whether or not you have a chart in yours or whether or not you have a picture. So don't try to fool me. I mean, I'm not an ignorant person. I mean, I know what I'm looking for. So I want to make sure that you know how to create a bar chart on Excel. And if you don't know how to do it, then obviously you reach out, but please don't just go ahead and just give up real super fast. I mean, you see how I have it here, okay? It's not that complicated to write some names and some numbers and then create a bar chart. Now, I'm purposely leaving out exactly what things to push in order for that to happen, because you need to look it up. You need to be self-exploring, self-exploring. You have to figure out things, look for help sessions or like guidance for you if you needed to. I mean, go on to here and type in create bar graph on Excel, right? And look for videos on it if that's the case. I mean, you need to learn how to do this. If I gave you a task out in the real world and you were my employee and I asked you to create a bar chart for me and you said you didn't know how to, I mean, I would say first, go ahead and look it up on the internet, figure out how to do it. And you're getting paid to do that. You would do that, right? You would go ahead and say, okay, how to create a bar graph on Excel. I mean, so treat this as though you're getting paid to do this, because technically you are. You're getting a grade for it. I mean, and that's getting more knowledge. You're learning things. And if all else fails, all right, and you really are still stuck, all right, on that, you can come over to here and ultimately get some portfolio support. All right, you can come over here and get some portfolio support by coming to Dr. Kilman's videos, which has all of the videos for every single portfolio here laid out. Maybe perhaps they're not in order. Don't be thinking they're in order. Go ahead and just look for the one that you need. You know how YouTube works. So this is a gathering of all the different portfolios. So you got to get the right one, and the right one would be the page 15. That's why I labeled them the way I did, so it's easy to find the page numbers. So you click on here, and this will walk you through it. So he'll walk you through how to do it. All right, and he'll do that for every single video. Now, some of them are a little drier than others. I mean, you can see here that some of them are 26 minutes. While some are 36 minutes. This one's 46 minutes because it teaches you how to upload the document and everything else. But don't get discouraged. I mean, some of these are very short, like 13.05. So it's only 13 minutes to do that portfolio. So these are examples of how to go about completing each of the portfolios. If you ultimately are stuck, I mean, after that, and by the way, exhaust all means of being able to do the problem, all right? But I will go ahead and assist. I got them all done. And oh, and by the way, you're really, really going to need to know how to plug this formula in, all right? I was helping one of your peers in here, and they were stuck on this because I did not want a number slammed in here. I don't want a number slammed in the last payment value. I wanted to use this formula, okay? And when I created this portfolio, all right, that right here, guys, come on, copy. I mean, I hate myself for doing this, but here is what you need. I mean, that is the formula. Now, you can copy and paste that if you wanted right into that cell block, and you're done. Now, I hate that I did that. I don't like that I just did that for you, because now you're never going to learn how to type in a formula. You're just going to copy and paste it and say, I'm done. Because that's not fun, all right? That's not what you want. You don't want to just not understand what you're doing. So use it as a guide, try to figure it out, but don't rely on it, because what I should be able to do to come in here is I should type in 36 months, and I should be able to see that number change automatically. All right, back to 60. If I go in here and say 5%, that should change. All right, and then I go down to here to 10,000. I'd say 5,000, and boom, look at that. My payment automatically should change. All right, that's what portfolio 1-7 does. All right, or the second portfolio. This portfolio, pretty straightforward, and this portfolio is probably more detailed and more complicated. All right. This one is not completely straightforward. All right. I tell you that this is about randomization and about experimental versus empirical probability. So this one's complicated. It's going to take you some time to figure out. Use the information that Dr. Kilman goes over. Here's just an example of that. Okay. So anyway, I have to figure out the total number of, selected cards and the computational value of that. And this is empirical probability, that I'm turning. And then, of course, theoretically, it should be 1/4. And most of these are close to 1/4 because there's only 4 suits. So anyway, this is what I found on the internet. All right. And here, I went ahead and found this I'm clicking on it right now to come to a document, all right, where I found it, all right. So it looks like there's an image issue, all right, and it looks like it's got a problem right now. So I have to go ahead and just say that that's the problem with that image I captured before there was a problem with it. So anyway, you have to find some information on the internet, okay? Don't be scared, just do it, all right? So I've gone over a couple things with the portfolios, all right? You need to go ahead and take advantage of some time. You need to give yourself some time to do it. Don't wait until the last minute to do your portfolios. Are there any questions? All right, well, in that case, then, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.